Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Nabil Ummi wa sallam. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Nabil Ummi wa sallam. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammadin Nabil Ummi wa ala alihi wa sallam. Allahumma ya Rabbi bi jahi Sayyidina Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Ijma bayni wa bayna Sayyidina Muhammad ibn Abdullah fi dunya qabla al-akhirah. All praise to Allah the Almighty, Durood and Salam on the best of creation, Sayyidina Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Has everybody got the book at the moment? Okay, whoever hasn't, if Brother Zafar can facilitate for them. So if you haven't got the book, not to worry for now. We will be, once the presentation is ready, we'll be going through it on the PowerPoint.
This is for people who are registered on Itikaaf, who are here for the 10-day Itikaaf. Okay. You're here for the 10 days? No. Oh.
So the chapter that we will be going through is chapter 4 on page 49. Now this is the foundation of the spiritual ascent. This is the methodology on how to activate your spiritual centers, how to cleanse your spiritual centers, and how to transfer your spirit into the spiritual world. Now we're going to do that with the aid of some diagrams, and we also will practice it depending on time at the moment. So everything that you've done up till now has been your foundational practices. So we've done the 5 amals, we've done the obstacles. All of this up to now is getting yourself prepared to reduce, ultimately is to reduce the amount of blockages in these spiritual centers. Now, what you've done now, and I want you to do here now, once the presentation is ready, is just to make those intentions. Make those intentions so when we do the practice, you are ready for this. And so the barakah comes in. It's like I said, what we're going to do is something that is out of this world. Sometimes people have spent a lot of time in halwat, trying to purify themselves, trying to learn these exercises. And the reason why, alhamdulillah, always goes back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, is the fazl of Allah. But it's the barakah and the key through our mashaykhs to giving us this formula to accelerate this process. Okay, thank you. I think the presentation is ready. So I'm going to draw your attentions to the screen. Alhamdulillah, the media team, this is Brother Ansar here, is thanks to his graphics that we're able to present this. And the idea again is, like Dr. Musharraf was saying, we live in an age, a technological age of visuals. So we try and adopt that as well by bringing the visuals in to make it easy. Now the important part here is, if there's anything in this lecture that, or this practical discourse that is not understood, please raise your hands, because it's very important everybody comes along on this journey. Because maybe once again we may see these visuals, but if there is anything, particularly the new brothers or those who attended one of the 24-hour retreats and still a little bit confused on the methodology and what to expect, please raise your hands. This is a class where we have to go together, because we've got another 8 or 9 days, And a lot of these practices will be happening when the lights are off. Okay. The methodology. Here we shall go through the methodology of how to prepare your body for a spiritual experience through purifying the energy centers which are situated within your own body. So some of these things I've covered, but just for the benefit of the presentation, everybody, again, I can't stress this enough, everybody just for a moment, close your eyes. Close your eyes and start to make those intentions now. Just reflect back on what Ustaad Majid, Professor Muhammad, Professor Ashraf, that necessary knowledge they've given you. Start to make those intentions between you and Allah. Make those intentions to do those 5 amals. For those who have already been prescribed, ask for forgiveness and make the intentions to restart. This is between you and Allah. Make those intentions, make the niyat for Allah's pleasure, the highest of niyats. And in your hearts, make dua for each other, for the other is successful. Want for your brother what you want for yourself. You slowly open your eyes now. This is just looking at the presentation. This is just a reminder that once we do this practice, the ultimate aim is to see. The aim is to see and taste. The ultimate aim being the pleasure of Allah. And the reason we make this point again is that the spiritual centers are used. They're used to transfer the spirit. The spiritual centers in of themselves are not the purpose. Some of you may or may not have come across where people focus on one LATAIF or Latifa or spiritual center and the energy gets blocked there. Sometimes you can use these powerful centers for healing, for other matters. That's not what we're after. We're going to go beyond that. We're going to free that spirit and use that to increase our relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now this is very key. This can be experienced by everybody. This can be experienced by everybody at 3 levels. 2 are in your control. 2 are in your control. Number 1 is a thought level. Everybody can think. If you're alive, you can think. So everybody can travel just on the thought level. Somebody, some less and some more. Second level, imagination. These exercises will develop your imagination in the right direction. Our imagination, images, pictures are always going on pretty much 24/7 while we sleep, while we're awake. But there should be nobody on the feedback saying they were completely blank. Otherwise, you will have Dr. Shah after you. Nobody is going to say they are completely blank. Then we will get a medical doctor after you to see if you have a pulse. Okay? Now, this next level, this is not in your control. The spiritual level, once things start to happen automatically, these 2 are in your control. You can think, you can imagine, you can follow the narrator. An example of this I'm assuming everybody can ride a bike here. Now, do you remember, go back in the day, your older brother, your father, your friend who's trying to teach you how to ride a cycle. So level 1 and 2 is like trying to control the handles and trying to push the pedals. And your brother, your father, they're holding the seat behind you. And they're encouraging you, stay, pedal, pedal. And you're thinking, this is impossible, how can I do this? But you don't give up. You're encouraged to carry on and carry on. And then one day you look behind you and you see your father's not holding the bike and you're doing it all by yourself. That's a good example to understand how you jump from level 1 to 3. Worry about what is in your control. And let number 3 happen automatically by the fazl of Allah on the appointed time for you as an individual. This is just reminding ourselves here again. Always refresh your intentions, even throughout your spiritual exercise, even though when you do it at home, during. Have the end in mind, the pleasure of Allah. We are not after visions in of themselves. We are not, our maqsad, our aim is not just the experiencing. It is for this retreat, but with the greatest intention, with the focus on having the end in mind, is using this to increase your relationship for the pleasure of Allah. Is that part clear? So if you are here with that sole intention and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is devoid from this, you haven't even brought that into your intentions. If you come here under the thinking, yes, some people have come here, they've experienced some amazing things that are happening. That's good, but now's the time to correct your intention. And keep the 3 keys in mind. Number 1, Allah is with me. Number 2, Allah Azza wa Jal is seeing me and hearing me. This will be repeated again and again. And again, it helps to refresh the intentions, helps to bring the energy, the light, the barakat in this whole ascension as well. Now, before you come and do any of the exercises, there'll be various exercises happening throughout the retreats. Do your prayer of need beforehand. Again, all of this, you can see this is all repeated and again to remind us and to focus us to the one who makes this possible, to the one whose help is required on this. This is just touching on, as you become spiritual people, as you connect to the spiritual master, the teacher, Shaykh Ahmad Dabag, there are certain adabs you will start to learn. So I'm just briefly touching on this. And one of those is not reading nafal in front of them. And sometimes people have, I forgot to read my nafal and the session is starting. They will start to read that too. Just what's done is done. Make the intention to read it afterwards, not in front of the teacher. Now we'll summarize this at the end. The next phase of this is then the protection. Just like when you go to sleep, you read the protective scars, you blow in your hands and you rub over your body. Same thing here. You're now entering into a spiritual world, and in that world, without the right direction, teacher, you can enter into shaitanic influence as well. Hence why I follow the methodology. Surat Fatiha once, Ayatul Kursi once, the 3 kuls in order. Kul huwallahu ahad, kul a'udhu bil falaq, kul a'udhu bin nas. Once, that's one set. Then repeat that 3 times. then you blow on your hands, and then you rub over your body. Just like when you do before you go to sleep. You've made your intentions, you've done your 2 rakat of the prayer of need. Now is getting the mindset right again. You enter 3 states, one by one. First state is of humbleness. Now this is something personal to you. Think of anything that brings you into a state of humbleness. The example here is that, Allah, I'm not able to worship, love, fear, remember you as you deserve, nor am I even doing my best. It can be anything that brings you into a mindset or enters into your heart some form of humility. The next state of mind, shukr, gratefulness. Again, even humbleness, shukr, even something like, we know us, I know myself. How much are we even deserving to be able to sit here and receive such blessings? So use the sins, the negativities that you have or done in the past or committed, and turn that into a positive, but allowing that to bring you into a state of humbleness. And then at the same time, then doing shukr. Despite all my weaknesses and my disobedience, oh Allah, you are bestowing blessing upon me. Even to be here, sitting here. And you know, many people who have made the intentions to come or made half intentions and not been able to get here. That's a blessing that we are sitting here together at the feet of the teachings of Shaykh Ahmad Dabag. And again, 3rd state of mind. I'm not able to travel on this journey without the help of Allah. Rely on Allah. We adopt the means and then we leave it to Allah. Whether it happens or doesn't happen, Allah, I'm happy with it, but I'm leaving the matter to you. But I will do my part. Then after the protection amals, we have the opening amals. So first one being Bismillah, Astaghfar 3 times. Durood Sharif 3 times. And every time you do these, connect with the meanings of them. So with the Astaghfar, that you imagine that your sins are being washed away. With the Durood Sharif, you're connecting for all of this. All of this barakat is connecting, is through the wasila of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. And again, La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah. All might and power is with Allah. Again, aligning your mindset towards Allah for protection, for the help. Is everybody with me so far? So just to summarize, if we just make it a little bit more interactive. Bazafar, I'll get the mic. Just give it to Brother Kashif. Just to summarize, just the main headings up till now.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. The main headings. First of all, we should have the 3 keys in mind. That Allah is with us, seeing us and hearing us. Before we start. Right?
No, carry on.
No.
Yeah.
After
So
that,
just to help you, because this is important, everybody comes. You can turn to page 70, not Brother Kashif, everybody else. 70 in your book. So I'm jumping up to the summary as well, just to make sure everybody's understanding comes along with us. So far we've covered the first 6 points. Please carry on, Brother Kashif. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Sorry.
Because you're Danish, we can get away with it. Brexit and all that.
So to begin with, we need to have the focus that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with us, seeing us and hearing us. After that, we need to...
So let me stop you. So is that the very first thing we do? Yes or no? What's the very first thing? Intention. Everything is but by intentions. Yeah. So the intention being, and sometimes, no, Brother Kash, some brothers do it at the same time with the 3 keys. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is more for new brothers, and because I know Brother Kash, sometimes people will do the intention, and with that they start to bring the 3 keys in mind. But I want to focus it so we do everything in order. First thing being, make the intention. The intention is the end of all ends, for the pleasure of Allah. And then the 3 keys, that Allah is with me, seeing me, hearing me. And the next?
Then you do the protection amals.
Yeah.
And
in the book we have the 2 rakats of nafil of prayer of need. That can be done beforehand, but this is the order to do things in. Okay? Please carry on.
Okay, so let me start from the beginning.
MashaAllah.
First of all, you do the intention that you are seeking the pleasure and closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And then you pray the 2 rakat Salatul Hajat for need. And then you bring the 3 keys in mind. And after that, you read the protection amals to embark the journey. And that's Surah Al-Fatiha, Ayatul Kursi, and 3 times the last 3 kuls.
Yep.
When you have done that, then actually you have to put your mind into a state of how to...
Okay, that's fine, Brother Kasha.
Yeah.
Somebody else, what's the 3 states of Raqqa? Zakara, thank you for that, brother. If Brother Mansoor was here, we'll pick on him. So, Brother Zafar, you can pick anybody too. Maybe Brother Yusuf there. So the three states of mind to enter.
Who's Brother Yusuf?
Brother Yusuf.
Three stages is of humbleness, thankful Allah, gratefulness, and reliance.
Zakara, thank you. Anybody disagree with that? That's correct. And the starting amals, you could pick anybody, just to mention.
You start with Bismillah and then have As-Saghfar 3 times, and then we have Durud Sharif, and then La Hawla Wala Quwwata Illa Billah, all 3 times.
No, thank you. Okay. So that's the preparation done now. Intention, keep the 3 keys in mind, the prayer of need, and the amals of protection, the 3 states, and the starting amals. Now let's bring your attention back to the screen. Now we're going to go through the location of the spiritual centers. The key thing here is knowing the color and the location. Each spiritual center does have a meaning to it. That's not necessary. For now, we want to get into the practical side of things. So give you the necessary knowledge to be able to purify the spiritual centers, to enlighten the spirit, to enter the spiritual body. So the key knowledge that you need to know here is the location and color. Everybody can see the screen? So starting from the bottom up, below the navel is the red spiritual center. At the level of the navel, the orange spiritual center. Stomach. That's between your navel and chest, is the stomach area. That's the yellow spiritual center. Now, in the middle of the chest, near to the level of the heart, is the green spiritual center. At the level of the throat, the light blue. The level of the forehead, dark blue, like an indigo color. Crown of the head, which is just above your head, where your turban sits. Here is the white spiritual center. There are others, but we're focusing on the 7 major ones for these exercises. So just together, just to help us to remember it. First one is location. Next one, level of navel. Next one, stomach. Green. Good. Light blue. Dark blue. The white one. Head. Okay. Now just turn your attention to the summary again. Just to give you that bird's eye view. Now we on to the part of intention and cleansing of the spiritual centers. Now the first one is the preparation of the spiritual centers and the emotional release. Then after that we focus on each spiritual center. Then the third one is very similar to the first one, where you're cleansing them in a vertical column all the way. So just keep that in mind for now. And I'm just going to focus you back to the presentation. The first one being the preparation of the spiritual centers. Now for the example, we have somebody standing. Yeah, so if you look at the presentation now, here. So for this example, we have somebody standing. But when we do this, you sit comfortably. Now in regards to sitting, it's always best to start off in the Atayatu position, on your knees. If for any medical reason you need to sit on a chair or any difficulties, you can change your position. So sit comfortably. The number 2, imagine the beautiful name of Allah. As you see in the picture here, the beautiful name of Allah is above your head. So for now, keep your eyes open, the ones that are closing eyes. We'll do a brief practice, but look at the presentation so you understand the methodology of preparation. Now you imagine the beautiful name of Allah is above your head and is full of light. Now when you breathe in, at the same time, when you breathe in through your nose, imagine the beautiful name of Allah is entering from the top of your head down throughout your body. So you imagine the name of Allah is above your head. Beautiful nur is emanating from it. When you breathe in, the nur comes from the name of Allah into the top of your head, throughout your whole body. And when you breathe out, imagine you're releasing. You breathe out of your mouth, You're releasing all your worries, darknesses, problems. Because this is sometimes something new for people. Before I carry on, we'll just practice this, just as a practice. So have a look at the image again. In particular, look at the name of Allah. Azza wa Jal, Allah. Alif, Lam, Lam, Haj. Look at the beautiful name of Allah for a moment. Now I want everybody to have the image in their mind. Now close your eyes. Everybody close your eyes. And keep that image in your mind. Imagine that beautiful name of Allah is above your head. It's just you and Allah. Forget yourself now into the name of Allah. The beautiful name of Allah is above your head. And it's full of light, full of nur. The nur is everywhere. Now imagine that nur is falling now upon your head. As you breathe in through your nose, take a deep breath in. And imagine that beautiful nur is entering into your mind throughout your whole body. Let your imagination flow as you breathe in. It enters into your mind throughout your body, to the tip of your toes, to the tip of your fingers. If you know some of the anatomy, imagine it's entering throughout your blood vessels, through your lymphatic system, through your bone structure, throughout your whole body. That beautiful nur from the name of Allah. Now when you breathe out from your mouth, release all that light from your mouth, and with it is removing all your darknesses, your worries, your problems. And then repeat this again. Keep the eyes closed. When you breathe in, imagine the light from the name of Allah is entering from the top of your head throughout your whole body. And the light is flowing to the tip of your toes, tip of your fingers, just like when air is blown into a balloon. And when you breathe out from your mouth, release all the tensions, all the worries. Okay, now you can slowly open your eyes now. Did anybody, particularly the new brothers, anybody have difficulty in following that? Any questions up to now? Yeah. No. Allow it to happen continuously. Okay. So brothers, just for the viewers, the brothers just ask, when you breathe in, do you hold on to your breath? No, you let it flow as relaxed as you can be. So you're imagining the beautiful name of Allah. So if you look towards me, name of Allah, as you breathe in, the nur is entering into your head, throughout your whole body, and just naturally when you breathe out, you're releasing everything out from your mouth. So no point it's not this. You breathe it in from your nose. Also, if you have a blocked nose like I have most of the time, you can breathe in from your mouth. Otherwise, you won't be able to breathe. Does that answer your question? That's fine. Anybody else? Particularly the new... Do you understand yourself? Yeah, that's fine, mashallah. You want to breathe out from your nose. Why? You normally breathe out, okay. I would keep it to the mouth. If you can breathe in, keep it to that methodology. It keeps a cycle going. When you breathe out from your mouth, it's like a release. Okay? So everybody's with us so far, yeah? The next part now is focusing on the cleansing or the activation of each individual spiritual center now. Starting from the one at the bottom, the red one. So the key things to remember here, we'll go through it. Key things to remember here, as I said before, is the color and the location and the color of the nur as well. So cleansing of the red one is below the navel, yeah? Below the navel. This time you imagine the beautiful name of Allah is in red color. And this time when you breathe in, you take a long deep breath in. So look at the picture here. As you breathe in, the nur comes together and it enters through your nose or your mouth. And it goes directly to the red spiritual center here. This time when you breathe out, the light exits from behind here. Imagine the beautiful name of Allah is in red color. The nur emanating is red. And as you breathe in, it enters through your nose, your mouth, and it goes straight down into the red spiritual center. When you breathe out, it exits from behind, energizing, cleansing that spiritual center. Any questions on this? So we'll practice this a little bit later on. I'll just go through the others. So what? And you work your way up. On the yellow is located. Sorry, orange. The orange is located at the location of the navel. So what's changed now is the color and the location. So red, orange at the level of the navel. And when you breathe in the orange nur and it goes straight to your navel area, where your orange spiritual center is, energizing and cleansing that. And when you breathe out, it exits from behind. And again, same thing with the yellow. The yellow is located at the stomach. When you breathe in, the yellow nur comes in through your nose directly to the stomach area. And when you breathe out, it exits from behind your stomach. Green, located at the chest, level of the heart. So just here. Same thing with the light blue, which is located at the throat. This time when you breathe in, the light comes straight to your throat, through your mouth. Then it exits from behind your neck when you breathe out. The next two are subtly different. Now, if you look at the visual, what is the next color? Dark blue, located at the forehead. This time when you breathe in, imagine the light is coming from the name of Allah straight to the front of your forehead. So the ones that are above your mouth and nose, the light comes straight into the spiritual center. And when you breathe out, it exits from behind. And the seventh, last one, located. So the white located at the crown of the head. Same thing again, but this time you're imagining the name of Allah is in white color. And the light enters to the front of the white spiritual center as you breathe in. And when you breathe out, it exits from behind. Any questions on this? Any confusions? So what we do with these exercises, we don't count the breaths. What we do is, like we at the beginning slide, it says you do it for, normally it's about 5 to 10 minutes each spiritual center. And on the practices, it'll probably be about 5 minutes, sometimes less. So as you, we'll touch on it as we come later, but as you get more proficient at this, the reason for going through this fata is the cleansing, the focusing. The main purpose here is to energize this, to transfer your spirit. Once you get practice, when you get into practice, you can shorten this to a few minutes, sometimes even for moments. And sometimes, as you get more and more advanced at this, you don't even need to go through the spiritual centers. Like I said, we're using this to achieve our objective of transferring the spirit. Sometimes you get good at this, spiritual centers get more and more activated. You can sometimes even transfer just by intention. Okay, but that's going ahead. Let's focus on this. It's like going back to the bike again, or driving a car, for example. Many drivers here, how many times do we now think about, clutch, signal, maneuver? It's all automatic. But at the beginning, how stressful was it if you go back to the time you're taking lessons? Yeah? How stressful was it? How many things do you have to remember? How amazing is the human mind? Look, signal, maneuver, clutch, gear, speed. Made a mistake, my dad shouting at me from behind. Do you remember? Now, how many times do you even think about it? Forget about thinking about driving. If you have a regular, place of work, sometimes you even think, "How did I even get here?" Yeah. Sometimes then it gets to a level you can even be in two places at once, in the physical and in the spiritual. But when you relate it to examples, it's nothing of the impossible, is it? You sleepwalking to work, sleep driving to work. So what I do is, when it comes to spiritual cleansing, I personally like to think of it in 3 parts. First was the preparation, the emotional release. Second part is the individual cleansing. The third part is this one now. Similar to the first. Imagine the beautiful name of Allah is still in white. You're breathing in the light like you did at the beginning. The light is entering throughout your whole body. And when you're breathing out, the light is moving up and down. Imagine it's energizing all the spiritual centers, almost like a rainbow now. And when you do this for a few breaths, you start to feel your body getting lighter and lighter. If you don't feel it, imagine it, think of it. Think your body is getting lighter and lighter until it disappears, disintegrates completely. Now, if the body has disappeared, what is left? Yeah. There's your spiritual center, your breath, and your spirit remain. So bring that to your mind. My body's disappeared. What's left now is your breath, your spirit, and your spiritual centers. What's the next thing we want to disappear or get rid of? LATAIF, the spiritual centers. So one by one, continue the breathing. The breathing stays. The imagination of the light, the nur coming into the body, up and down, stays. The body's disappeared. Now one by one, your spiritual centers disappear. Begin with the red. Imagine the red disappeared. The orange disappeared. And again, sometimes people get confused. Sometimes they say we're doing this and the red has disappeared and all of a sudden all of them have disappeared. That's fine. Okay? But just for order, you do it from red, orange, yellow, green, light blue, dark blue, white, until all your spiritual centers have disappeared. Now what remains? What's left now? I made it easier. It's on the screen, so that shows that people are not looking at the screen. The breath and the spirit remain. Yep. Now what remains now is just the breath and the spirit. Okay. You've done the preparation, the emotional release, prepared the spiritual centers. You've cleansed them one by one, activated one by one. Then you've come back and focused on all of them, and your body has now disappeared. Each spiritual center has now, all your spiritual centers have now disappeared. What remains now is your breath and your spirit. Now the next step is to create, imagine in front of you is your vehicle of travel, your spiritual body. So have a look at the presentation. Imagine a mirror copy of yourself. So this part of the section, we call it the spiritual body, the golden breath, and the transfer. That will all make sense in a minute. So imagine this like you're looking in the mirror. Now this doesn't need to go into too much detail. If you can just imagine just as a white outline of yourself, that is sufficient. Now what to do here? You're still doing your breathing. The name of Allah, the Almighty, is above your head in white color. You're breathing in the white nur and you're breathing out. Now with that breathing in and breathing out, you're going to take such a breath that you're going to breathe. When you take such a exhale out, when you breathe out, you breathe the spirit out and place it into your spiritual body. As shown here. This is what we call the golden breath. So you get your mind, you get your focus ready. And when we do this, we'll talk you through this. And one of the Ustads would say, now take the golden breath. Meaning, you take, and that breath you can make a little bit stronger. You just, you blow out your spirit. And imagine it goes into the spiritual center, your spiritual body. Any questions? This is pretty much, I'll go through the next step in a bit. But this part is very important because when you're doing this, you won't have the visual aids when you're doing this for real. Again, the new brothers, I keep focusing on new brothers and anybody else who's had difficulty and been doing this or think they've been doing the wrong way. Any questions or anything? Has everybody understood this correctly? So up to this point, what I'll do, this is how important it is. Can all the new brothers who have done this for the first time stand up, please? Okay, mashallah. And also, who's been on one retreat, just one before? If you also stand up. So everybody sitting now, they've had some form of experience. So right now, you got your books. Just for the next 5 to 10 minutes, I want you to pair up. Try to choose somebody close to you. Yeah. So pair up with somebody who's close to you. And for the next 5-10 minutes, I want you to go through the methodology. You can use your books and you can check each other's understanding. Okay? So if you could pair up, and the ustads that are around can help with this as well. So we'll maybe go around. No. So everybody, I'll make it. So everybody who's standing right now, pair up with somebody who's sitting down. Yeah.
One old, one new.
You look new and young. ठीक है? Brother Shokat, brother, pair up this brother here. You come here, yeah?
Oh, 1 second.
Oh, you sit with them here.
You're brand new.
Sit with these two brothers
You've
here.
not been to a
Yeah?
retreat before.
Check the understanding, yeah?
Okay. Then you need to sit with brother.
There was only one healing session I did.
That's fine. Brother Abdul Manan. What do Shokat, have you go with somebody? आप दोनों.
Yeah, he did once, but he didn't understand. No explain.
कोई मसला नहीं. आप एक दूसरे को मतलब चेक करें कि आप इनको बताएं आपकी अंडरस्टैंडिंग ठीक. बुक को देख सकते हैं, ठीक है? तो ये आपको बताएंगे, एक दूसरे को चेक करें कि आप दूसरों को समझ आइए कि नहीं. सही समझ आएगी? मतलब कि आप पहले आप शुरू करें, ठीक है? आप इनको बताएं कि स्टार्टिंग में क्या क्या करना पड़ता है.
याद है आपको? आप बताएं ना फिर स्टार्टिंग में क्या है?
Okay. Let's just see which color. 5. Wasim, Nasser, Nasser. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Can I have your attention, please? Okay, if you just stay seated where you are, I'll get Ustaad Sajid will take over and guide you from here onwards.
It helped you, mashallah. Thank you, Uncle. Mashallah. So I'm just going to get a couple of the new couples. Brother Yusuf and your partner, if you kindly stand up for me, please. And if you give them the mic, if you could just explain any difficulties, how did the understanding go? What did you ask each other?
Well, I ask obviously brother how obviously methodology of that. So he's go very well actually. So like from beginning,
Yeah.
would you have to make it like intention, and then obviously imagine Allah is with you, Allah is see you and hear it you. So all these things he go through up to the LATAIFs, everything. So
MashaAllah.
he's done very
Shall
well.
we test him now?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, that's fine. So, please, brother, tell us your understanding.
How you start off with protection and intention as well.
Yep.
And then after that, how the 3 main keys are very important. As well as the amal for starting. Also how we should, before all that, we should pray 2 rakat
Yep.
for needs, salat hazard.
And in particular, the breathing exercises.
There you go.
Tell us a bit about that.
In terms of, we've got certain, so you imagine it comfortably, Allah is above. You just have to be technically straight above. Could be anywhere above.
Yep.
And as long as it's going into your, above your head, into your body. And how there's different areas, like 7 areas in the body where you go obviously in colours. And how it starts from red, below the navel, to the navel, stomach, and below, between the chest, to the throat and forehead, as well as the crown of the head. You start with the white at first. You just how it goes through the head into the body, and
that's called the preparation.
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 When you breathe out, you breathe out your worries and any other sort of negativities. You just let it out with that blow.
That's good. So you've done the preparation. You've done the individual ones. And what was after that?
Was the colours.
Yeah, once
different stages.
Yep.
So you start with white, same. After all the colours, you start with white and you mixes it into your body. It goes up and down, kind of forms like a rainbow sort of.
MashaAllah, that's good. So I'll pause you there. That's good. It just gives you an idea of the understanding. So, but another couple, please. Thank you, Brother Yusuf. That was good. And all of this will become easier once you practice it as well. Inshallah. Jazakallah. No, do this brother here, please. Yeah. So let's pick on this one.
Okay, so after that position, I guess your body disappears. Yeah?
Yep.
You imagine your body disappears. And then you breathe the whiteness. So you blow the spirit onto the body. You golden exchange.
Yep. And just so, can anybody help him? What happens after the body disappears? That's right. The spiritual centers disappear.
Disappear.
Yeah. That's a one by one, and then you do the golden breath.
Yeah.
MashaAllah. That's good. And any confusion on understanding even before that?
Yeah, just the Salatul Hajat.
Yep.
I kind of forgot that.
Yep.
At the beginning. So, is there anything special about the Salatul Hajat that we need to consider? Is it prayed in a particular special way? Or is it just like a normal two nafal?
Just normal two nafals. There are some du'as in there, but just for this level, just two nafals. The main thing for that is that you're connecting and asking Allah for help. Yeah, on that one. Okay, mashallah. That's good. So, is there anybody else that has any? Thank you for that. Jazakallah. Any confusion, anything that's not understood. So the order and the methodology will become easier. This is why we've given you the books now, so you can read it and understand it in your own time. My main point here is that we understand the breathing exercises. Because everything we will go through with you. And the order you will get as we practice it a few times. Okay? But what happens, what disappears, the imagination, the thinking. The thinking part is very key here. Is that because if you haven't practices, for some people even just to think about the name of Allah is difficult because they've never been taught this before. And then we're involving in that with the imagination and linking that in with the breathing. Those are the key bits that I wanted for you guys to learn and check with somebody who's more experienced. Okay? So any questions thus far before we move on with the presentation? So this means everyone's understanding very well. MashaAllah. That's good. So coming back to the presentation. So now you've cleansed your spiritual centers. Body disappeared. Spiritual centers have disappeared. You've now transferred your spirit into your spiritual body. What do you do next? What's the next key thing to do here? Find the teacher. Again, imagine. This is all in everybody's ability. Think of the teacher. Imagine the teacher and you will find them. So this is, sometimes we stating the obvious, but for the new, it's worth stating the obvious. It's the spiritual body that you're connecting with, not the physical. So it doesn't mean go up and start looking for the teacher. I know it's obvious. Again, I don't want to go too much into this. They have many spiritual bodies. Because you'll experience this. Sometimes people ask, there's so many of us. How's the teacher's spiritual body going to connect with each and every one of us? As I said, even the spiritual world is beyond time and space. And these are things you will experience yourself. Even if you don't experience yourself straight away, but how powerful is it to see others experience as well? So I want you to bear that in mind. Sometimes people lose hope, but when you see other people experiencing, how refreshing is that for your belief as well? And this last bit, let it flow. Let it flow and don't think too much. Sorry, say that again? So that means you're overthinking already. That's exactly what it means. Huh? Just be free. Brother, be free. Let it happen. I was going to pick on Uncle Iqbal, but I held back there. I don't want you to be asking me which ayat, which page number. You know what I'm referring to, Uncle, yeah? You understood? You understood. This is to help you with it. Just have a look at the imagery here. We talked about the catalyst. We took Ustaad Majid, how he beautifully explained the position of the teacher, the need of the teacher. And this is just to make it very clear. This is the teacher, Shaykh Ahmad Dabagh. And these images the brothers have put up just to help with the imagination. So those images are there. Just look at whichever image you connect with, you can bring that into your mind. The biggest benefit you have here, the teacher, alhamdulillah, is physically present. They're praying with us, sitting with us, eating with us, so you can see them and interact with them physically. Sometimes we, as you said, we run these retreats all over the world, and due to the generosity of the teacher, they send the ustads out. And this, some people haven't even seen the teacher physically, and they've been benefiting, sometimes even more. Because the spirit is beyond time and space. So this is where the spiritual adventure begins. So you connect with the teacher spirit, and then just let it flow. Let it flow, meaning whatever's coming into your mind, let it come in. Yeah, we'll give you the roadmap a little bit, and the brothers will go into it in more detail. The ustads will go into more detail of the roadmap of the Miraj. But here, for now, particularly the first practice, let it flow. I'll give you some of the roadmap. Let it flow. Travel with the teacher through the skies, past the mountains, and out of respect, we always connect to the Grand Master of this path, Sayyiduna Abdul Aziz Dabagh rahimullah. And this is their mazar, if those who haven't been, in Fez in Morocco. You're transferring, you're connecting with Shaykh Ahmad Dabagh spirit, then you're traveling with their spirit to the Grand Master, the Mizar of Sayyiduna Abdul Aziz Dabagh rahimullah. We have Professor Saab from Professor Muhammad from Fez. He's come from this city here. That is something powerful in and of itself. Professor Saab has come from Fez in Morocco, come to this retreat to learn and to train others to connect with Hazrat Saab Shaykh Ahmad Dabagh, then to connect with the great Ummi saint of Fez. Amazing. Amazing. Let it flow. Let it flow. Just be reflective. Enjoy the experience. And again, just for your imagination, focusing on the imagery here. I'm just letting this picture settle into your mind as well. Then from there, you may travel to the city of light. Keep the teacher with you as your guide always. The blessed Kaaba. And just to help with your direction and your imagination, particularly when you do it by yourself, this is the order that we go through. Again, if things happen outside the order, things are happening automatically, just let it flow and just feed back afterwards. Sayyiduna Abdul Aziz Dabagh rahimahullah, first place. Imam Abdul Hassan al-Shadili, Egypt. Baghdad. Gausiya Pak, Sayyidina Abdul Qadir al-Jalani. Sayyidina Imam Hussain. Door of knowledge, Sayyidina Ali radiyallahu anhu. And so on. This is all in your book. Normally we have a little bit of time to do a short practice, but I think the next session will be the practice because it'll be time to open our fast soon. But this is just to give you a little overview. Again, just certain adabs. What comes after? So whichever brazuk that you come across or you meet, even at the level of thought or imagination and spiritually, seek the permission from the teacher. Sometimes we are keen to bypass the teacher. Your key is your teacher. Even when if you have an opening, even if you're in front of the best of creation, who's opening this door for you? Teacher. Even spiritually, have that connection. This will make your experiences stronger. Keep you also grounded. Very easy. Sometimes these openings, don't get it wrong, and you ask the experienced brothers, become a test on you as well. Remember, shaitan, the devil is still there. I didn't do much effort. I've got these openings. Don't start to become your own sheikh. Stay under the protection. Even ask permission to come back, return, slowly open your eyes. So the key thing here is to understand the order. So up till when we come to the next practice, every time you have some time, look at that chapter we talked about. Get the order into your mind. We will do the exercise together, the methodology, the transfer of the spirit. And as you get more and more versed in this, the teacher will spiritually take you to many, many places. So normally at this stage we do a short practice. We're short of time. How much time do we have? Yeah, that's fine. We'll do that afterwards. I'll just finish this presentation. The next practice will be, I think, tomorrow. Is that? That's right. So this is, I'm just giving a little bit of knowledge of some of the states you can go through this. So this might resonate. This might not make sense to some of the new people. This might resonate with the people who have practiced already. So do not sometimes we get into the mindset, why has nothing happened straight away? There's an order of it. Don't we thought we've already mentioned the 3 levels that you can travel. What were the 3 levels? Thought, imagination, spiritual, which is not in your control. Spiritual. So these are some of the stages you might go through of realization. The very first is getting familiar with the order. This is the level we're at the moment. And that's why we paired you up with somebody a bit more experienced to understand the order. Then you start to get verbal clarity. So if you're following someone who's narrating, you start to follow at thought level. So they'll mention their own. So one of the Ustads will go through the whole process and then describe some of the scenery in the spiritual world. That's to help you to connect with it and at least as a minimum let you engage with it on a thought or an imagination level. So first comes the verbal clarity. Then you're able to, your own imagination starts to kick in. Then sometimes the visuals don't come first. You start to have the feeling. You start to feel the presence of the bruzuks, that you are at these blessed places. That's at level 4. Your imagination starts to become clear gradually. Starts to add more color into your imagination. Then you start to go through a little bit of confusion. Is this really happening or is it all in my mind? At level 7. Then as you progress more, it's almost like a dream. Like you daydreamed it. So you go past the blockage of Is it in my mind? Am I the one creating? Sometimes these things can happen to people. Then it feels like a clear dream, but you're awake. Then the clarity becomes clearer to a point where it's almost like you're watching a movie. Three-dimensional, almost as if you're in the movie yourself. All of this is pretty much in your control. All we've done here is breaking level 1 and 2 in a little bit more detail, just from people's experiences, what states you could be going through. Now we start to go into the spiritual. So you have to go through all of those things. So the difference between the imagination and the spiritual is when things start to happen beyond one's control. Then that in itself starts to become clearer and clearer. You start to question, did that really happen? Some confusion. This is why feedback is very important. I'm just telling you now, the Ustads will tell you, those who are quick to give positive feedback on the experiencing, on their feelings, you're able to then to see where you are on any of these points. Are you still just getting familiar with the order? Are you somewhere here? Same as reality. Sometimes even you've come out, you feel the experience has been so strong, the spirit wants to stay there, that can happen as well. And you're here, your eyes are open, you're physical, but you still feel your spirit is still there in Makkah Sharif, Medina Sharif. This is what we touched on earlier. So it gives a point, you don't need to close your eyes. You can do this with your eyes open. And so forth. What we touched on earlier. There won't be even any need for the LATAIF, the spiritual centers. Just by mere intention, one can transfer or be in both states at once. Number 20, continuously witnessing this world and the unseen world at the same time. Imagine that. That's something to make dua for each and every one of us, that we have that level for the biggest intention, for Allah's pleasure. Imagine what your life would be like if you're continuously witnessing the beloved of Allah. Your level of obedience, your level of adherence to the Sunnah. Are you going to be somebody then in the presence of the beloved arguing over petty matters? Are you going to watch anything inappropriate on your phone, on YouTube? Now, just to focus you on here, there's a responsibility from the teacher's side and there's a responsibility from your side. So I'm just going to very quickly. So, Brother Zafik, let me know when you want to. Okay. What is the teacher's responsibility? One is to give you the permission to be able to enter into the spiritual world. And from my understanding, by the fact that you've been accepted to enter into this Dargah Spiritual Training Center, you've been given the permission. The methodology, which we've now gone through. The guidance, spiritual help, the spiritual company, removal of obstacles, interpretation of visions and feelings, hence why the feedback is very important. Don't interpret yourself. And the Spirit will take you to all of these stations. Then ultimately, by the end of this retreat, hopefully, some maybe before, but by the end of this retreat, presenting you into the prophetic presence, then into the divine presence. Teachers, this is what the teacher is giving you here. Now, what is asked of you? What is asked of you and me? From the teacher, from the seeker. How many things from the seeker? Just the one. To learn and train in this methodology to transfer the spirit into the spiritual body. That's all you have to do. Transfer yourself, connect with the teacher. The rest is being taken care of here. So let's at least make the effort. Sometimes we want things completely on the plate. Learn the methodology, understand the methodology, practice, transfer your spirit, and then let it flow. So obstacles, I won't go into that because the other ustads have gone through that. Some of it, but more importantly is the methodology. So when we do the practice, everybody's clear. So whatever time we have left, Brother Zafar, if there's any questions to take, or we'll let brothers get ready for iftar.
I think time is critical now, so we'll have to wrap up, unfortunately.
Inshallah.
Yeah, I mean, there'll be plenty of opportunity to ask questions. So as you're here for the next 8 days or so, there will be plenty of opportunities to practice this, to learn this in your own time from the books that you've got, and to ask the ustads as well, inshallah. Not now. Yeah, not now.
Jazakallah. Thank you, everybody, for
If we can
participation.
clear up, please, because put all your books away. Don't just put them these tables away, and let's make our way upstairs.